Hello, hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday. I start this call off every week saying the same thing. I am so excited because I am so excited because this has become literally my favorite call to do. And it's because we get to hear from different people throughout the company that are on our team sometimes, they're not on our team sometimes. And we get to hear from the 200Ks are that have been in and gone through the muck and the mud to get to where they are. And I just get so excited because I love hearing the different stories and the different tips. And one of the things, if you guys have been joining us, you may be joining us just for the first time, or this may be your, um, gosh, we've been doing this for almost 2 years. So this may be your like 60th call. But one thing you'll notice is you get to hear a lot of the same things over and over again, which success leaves clues, guys. That's the one thing I've learned in this industry is when you hear things over and over again, it means do them. It means if it's working for everyone else, that it's probably going to work for you. And it's so cool to hear the similarities, but also the differences, right? We all are so similar, but the differences in how we do things. And it could be something you hear on one of these calls that changes your business forever. I know that is what changed my business forever, is getting on something like this, that listening to someone else and going, oh my gosh, light bulb moment. And I tweak my business just a little bit and everything changes. And I have no doubt today's call is going to be no exception, because today we have 200K Stephany K on. And Stephany, you're going to have to unmute yourself. I didn't even ask you, is your last name K, or is that like a middle name?
It's my middle name. My last name is Anderson.
Oh, okay. Stephany Anderson. Mine's the same thing with me. Mine's Lisa K. So a lot of people are like, is
Mm-hmm.
that your full name or is your last name? Stephany, I am so excited. And I want to thank you, first of all, for taking time out of your day to get on with us and share. And just that's one of the things I love about Lavelle is that there's not been one. Sorry, I got a new puppy, you guys. There's not been one 200K that has said no to me, not one that has not been gracious and been like, absolutely. And a lot of people aren't like that. I was with another company that, believe me, if they didn't make money off of you, they weren't helping you. So it's a special thing that we have here with Lavelle. And I just want to thank you so much for getting on today. And I can't wait to hear your story. And that's kind of where I wanted to start, is like, take us back. What were you doing before network marketing? And then did you do any other network marketing before Lavelle? And then how did you find Lavelle? And we'll kind of go from there.
Okay, yeah. First of all, Lisa, thank you so much for having me on. When you messaged me and asked me, I was like super excited. I was like, awesome. I love to share my story with so many people. So prior to network marketing, I was in upper management with Wells Fargo Corporate America. I traveled a lot. My job was very, very demanding. Um, right before starting in network marketing, I had a 7-year-old who's now almost 13, and I had a newborn baby who is now 5. So at that point in time, not only was I doing the, full-time Wells Fargo thing, but I was also a student. And I'm going to kind of take you back through my son's first 7 years. So I was a full-time student. I was still working my Wells Fargo job. And I also had a successful photography business where I specialized in weddings. So for me, I was constantly working. If I wasn't working, I was doing schoolwork. And if it was between March and November, I didn't have a weekend off because I was doing weddings or photographing families or kids or whatnot. And at the time I was like, well, this is the life. Like, I think this is what life is supposed to be. I'm supposed to work. I'm supposed to make good money. And I thought I was being able to provide for my son the way that I was supposed to. But when I had my daughter, the minute I brought her home, he was 7, and for whatever reason, something clicked in my head where I looked at her and I started bawling because I was like, oh my gosh, I just realized that the past 7 years, I'd missed so much of my son's life. I missed so many of his firsts. I didn't get to be there for when he lost a tooth until it was like his fifth tooth. And for me, I don't know why I didn't realize it before, but when I brought our second kid home, it just kind of all flooded in. And I think a lot of it is because I had a really hard pregnancy with my second kid, and she's kind of a miracle baby. I don't want to get into the details of that, but when I brought her home and she was healthy and all that stuff, like it was a huge eye opener for me. So this was April of 2015 when that happened, and I just remember being at home on maternity leave and thinking like, there's got to be more. Like, I don't want to go back to the life that I was living prior to having this kid. Like, I want to be there for all of her firsts. And, I don't want to like be separated from my kids anymore. And so around that same time, I started noticing somebody posting about this extravagant income she was making on Facebook. And I was like, what in the heck? It wasn't this company, but that was my first eye opener to network marketing. And it was a different health and wellness company. So I messaged this girl and I asked her questions, and I jumped right in knowing really nothing about the products. Just always thinking to myself like, hey, if this girl can make it work, I can make it work, and I can stay home full time with my kids. So I started that company, and within 8 months of starting that company, both me and my boyfriend, I had gotten us both to these leadership ranks where we were making really good money, and I was able to leave my corporate America job and come home full time to network marketing. So I saw the power of network marketing. But the problem I had after that was, I jumped into it not knowing anything about, health and wellness, and kind of just doing what I was told. And looking back at it, it was a very unauthentic way to grow. I did a lot of cold messaging. I did a lot of things that I would never teach my team today to do, ever. And so after a while, I was sitting there and I'm like, 3 steps ahead, 4 steps back, 3 steps ahead, 4 steps back. I never had retention. I couldn't figure out what was going on. And I finally realized that, the product wasn't something that I was passionate about. Like Lisa said, she was in a previous company, same company actually as I was. And if your leader, so in my experience, my leader, if I wasn't making that person money, then we were literally nothing. I was treated like a number. So I just remember, not feeling very valued over there, and I wasn't passionate anymore. And so I decided to leave. And here's the thing, I didn't leave to join this business. I actually said absolutely not to another business like that for the next 9 months. I did dabble in a couple of different things in between, but I was going through a lot of mental hardship during that time. It was a very stressful time when I left. I had a lot of people that looked to me as someone who left them high and dry. I had a lot of, bad things that were said about me because I left that company, things like that. And I just kind of put myself into this little bubble. And just like closed myself off to the world. I went into a pretty deep depression for about 9 months. I didn't want to wake up. I didn't want to leave my bed. I didn't want to, I was always worried about what the next person is saying about me. And there was a time where I finally was like, enough is enough. Like, something better is out there for me, and I just need to figure that out, right? So that's about the time where this product was introduced to me. I started as a customer. Again, I wasn't ready to join the business or anything, and I only started the product because I wanted to help this person who started his business with it, and I didn't think I was ever even going to take it. So I bought the product. I remember my first day taking the product. my son was a soccer player, and I had signed him up for another team's roster for that day because they were missing some people. So he had multiple games that day, and Aaron builds houses, so he was working on a deadline for the Parade of Homes. He puts his homes on Parade of Homes. And so it was just me, my son, and my crazy toddler. If any of you have followed me on Facebook, you know exactly who my daughter is. She is absolutely crazy, off the wall. She's just a miniature version of me. And she's definitely a handful. You could probably hear her screaming right now. She's downstairs with my son. And so my thoughts were, I'm going to come into this day, I'm going to be stressed. I'm not going to have the energy because that was my normal day. Like, I'm going to have to chase her all around these soccer fields and, not even be able to watch the games. And I just anticipated my day to suck. For whatever reason, I decided to take the product. That was the first day I tried the product. And I remember, like, late afternoon, I realized that all those things I thought was going to happen with my daughter being crazy happened, but I was not stressed. Like, I was still happy and I was having fun with it. And it wasn't anything that, like, overwhelmed me. And I didn't know that it was the product at first. I was kind of just, it's coincidence. But, I started to take the product more and more and realized that I was getting my happy back. I was getting my energy back. I was being more present for my kids, and that was the biggest thing. That 9-month period where I was just in such a dark place. Financially, I was about $20,000 in credit card debt too. And I don't talk about that a lot, but because I have a lot of pride, or I had a lot of pride with myself because I've always been this independent person. But I stopped paying on that credit card debt, like, for those full 9 months. So anyways, I was starting to get my happy back and my energy back and all that stuff. And it wasn't until 5 or 4 months later that I finally decided to join the business. Lisa, did you want me to kind of keep going with
Well,
what questions?
first of all, I didn't even know that we were in the same company. That's so
Yeah.
crazy. But so the cool thing about being with another network marketing company and coming to Lavelle is you really appreciate Lavelle. Like, you're like, wow, this is amazing. And it's not just the company we left. I mean, Lavelle is, I hate saying this. I mean, I'm not trying to put down other network marketing companies, but Lavelle by far just has the best comp plan ever. Like, it's so good. And when you come from a culture where, you go to conferences and nobody talks to you unless you're a certain rank, and people are snobby, and it's a completely different culture, and people should be so, I wish everybody knew how lucky they were. People that haven't been in another network marketing company, they just don't realize it. But I, just out of curiosity, with that other company, like, what is the highest income you ever got to?
Um, we, so I would say
Is
my
that too personal? You don't have to answer.
No, you're fine. So my personal paycheck, the highest was about 5 grand for the month, and then Aaron's was about 3 grand. So we were both the same rank. But my
So
check,
let's just say over here, you've probably seen that in a week.
yes.
It's like so nuts, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's so exciting. So how long have you been with Lavelle now?
August is going to be 3 years.
Oh my gosh. So you're like about 6 months behind me. I'm about 3.5 years. So we
Hmm.
came over like within 6 months of each other. So
Yeah.
take me through your progression with Lavelle. Like, you finally got started as a promoter, and I get it. Like, after you're with another company where you're treated like that, like the devil, if you aren't gonna be with that company anymore, it is very, like, it's a depression you go through. A lot of
Hmm.
people I know went through that. Like, and some people were really scared to start something else. So I totally get that gap between you being a customer and then finally deciding to, press that promoter button. What exactly? Like, give me some time frames. Did you get your VIP bonuses? Because I get you probably understood what was going on a little bit better than somebody that hadn't been in before. Um, did you get those? Did you go 4K in 30 days? And then what was the time frame in between each one of your ranks?
Okay, so when I started, I just knew, and I want everyone to know that when I started, my goal was just I had to make it work. I didn't have a choice to make it work. It was either make it work or go back to a 9 to 5, right? Because I was negative in my checking account. I had so much credit card debt. So when I started, I was like guns blazing. And it really took me mentally to get out of my own head. When I finally decided to push that promoter button and get started, that was when I decided I didn't care what anyone else thought anymore. I didn't care what people thought of me. If they didn't support me, then they could leave my life for all I cared. Like, I didn't care if you were my sister, if you were my best friend, if you weren't supporting me, then get out of my way, pretty much. So I earned my VIP 800, and then I actually missed VIP 1600 by 24 hours. I assigned my last person that would have got me that bonus the day after the deadline. And I will tell you, I dwelled in that for about an hour, and I was like, dang it, I missed it. And I was, feeling sorry for myself, but I was just like, I have to keep going. And I remember at that point in time, I told myself, if I could just go 40K in my first 12 months, how awesome would that be? And that was kind of my mentality for the rest of that month. My started August 8th of 2015 or 2017, sorry. And I did end up going 4K by the end of August. So I did hit it within my 30 days. I did earn the iPad bonus. And I remember the 1st of September being like, okay, my goal is 12K this month. And I was talking with, you probably know Courtney Glaser. She did not enroll me, but I was placed on her top line by the person who did enroll me. And so her and I have worked very, very close together since day one. And so I had a meeting with her, and I was like, my goal is to go 12K this month, and my goal is to have at least 12,000 in sales. And she was like, but why wouldn't your goal be 20,000? And at first I was like, okay, that sounds super overwhelming, but let's do this. And I did go 12K about mid-month September. I ended the month with 22,000. Earned the auto bonus. I did not go out and buy my car. I know a lot of people ask me that question, like, what car did you go get when you earned the bonus? Y'all, I didn't get my car until after I went 200K. I had other things on my mind. I had other priorities I needed to take care of. So I did not go out and get my car right away. My next month. So, okay, after I hit to 22,000 that month, and remember when I said, my goal is 40K within my first year, I looked at myself after I went 12K and after that month ended, and I was like, if I sit here and have this mentality that I can go 40K in my first year, then I'm going to go that slow, right? So then my mind my mind shifted instantly, and I was like, okay, my new goal is to go 40K this month, and my new goal is to go 200K in the next few months. And so I knew that if my goal was bigger and better, and if I could dream harder, that I would work harder, because mentally I would be telling myself, okay, if you're wanting this goal, then you have to keep going. So let's see, October, I missed my 40K by a couple of thousand, but then I went 40K in November. I went 80K. And you guys, I want to tell you a story because I want to be real raw. December of that year, I started to get cold feet about things. I started to worry that, as fast as I grew, I might fall, things like that. And I got super scared. And not a lot of people know this, but I went and I interviewed for a job to go back into management that was going to pay me $60,000 a year. And it was right after Christmas that year. I was still at 40K because I went 40K in November, and I wasn't on pace for the 80K in December. And I accepted the job, and the beginning of January, I was supposed to start. And I remember Aaron and I were driving out to his parents because our kids were out there and we were going to go pick them up. And he asked me if I was excited to start work up again. And I sat there in silence and I started bawling. And it was like uncontrollably bawling. And he was like, "What in the heck is wrong with you?" And I like couldn't even speak. Like, I had such bad separation anxiety. Like, I had been basically with my daughter, home with her whole life. I wasn't ready to go back to a 9 to 5. And he looked at me. He's like, "You don't need to go back." He's like, "You don't need to go back. It's fine. We'll make this work." Okay. So I called them up and I was like, "I'm not coming. I'm not going to accept the job anymore. I know I already accepted it." And that month, January of 2018, I went 80K. So it was a couple weeks later, I went 80K, ended the month at 86,000. And the following week was my first comma paycheck and for the week. And it was huge for me because, a few weeks prior, I almost went back to work because I was scared of the growth. I was scared that I was going to fail and let people down. And, all this traumatic experiences that happened in my past company started to arise in my head. Like, what if that starts to happen? Things like that. And I almost went back to work because I was scared. But because I decided not to, and because I decided to keep going, I went 80K. February, that following month, I ended the month at 140,000. March of 2018, I ended the month at 242,000. So I went, how many months would that be? August to March is what it took me to go 200K. And I know Lisa talked to me yesterday about being real raw and talking about the hard and talking about the easy throughout the journey. So I'm going to tell you, I did pretty well. My team did pretty well for the next 6-7 months. I maintained rank just fine, just easy. And then about a year and a half ago, January last year, I'm not going to go into details, but a lot of things happened with my team. I lost to 200K. I lost an 80K on a different leg. And a lot of things were happening with, company, not just our team, but other teams. Things were happening and, lots of manipulation was happening through my team. Anyways, I lost a lot of people. The people who stayed strong, stayed. Okay. Yes, Jamie, I just saw your message. Anyways, I lost rank. Okay. So I lost rank about a year and a half ago. And I lost rank bad. I think 2 months last year didn't even rank to 80K. It was very close. It was 78, but other than that, I wasn't a 200K anymore. I'd maintain 80K most of the time. And last summer when they came out with some opportunities for 80K and 200K, I was like, okay, this is my time to shine. Let's go. I worked my butt off. I worked with my team. I worked a lot closer with my team and got to know my team a lot better, right? And we just continued to grow and grow and grow. And I will be happy to say that last month is the first time that I got my 200K back. And that was really, really hard pill for me to swallow. That was a really, really hard thing for me to share with my team. But I shared with my team a couple of months ago the struggles that our team had gone through, because I've always been this person where I'm certified in holistic health, and a lot of that is mindset. Okay. So I've always been the one, I'm the mindset queen. I'm the one that's going to kick you out of your woe me type of a mindset. But sometimes I didn't want to share that sometimes I struggled mentally. So a couple of months ago, I shared with my team. I went live with my team. I told them exactly, what was going on, what had happened, and in the growth that we've had. But I will say this, as fast as we grew and as fast as we fell, the strong people stayed. The people that trusted in themselves stayed. And we weren't the team that was ready for that growth back then, and now we are. Like, our team is, they can trust again, um they can trust in each other again, and that was the biggest thing. So anyway, sorry, any more questions around that, Lisa?
No, I just was thinking how so many people just think they don't know the behind the scenes. They don't realize that it's not just like this rainbow and sunshine thing when you hit 200K. Things happen. And I'm going to assume that you were placed by an upline that left.
Yes.
So that's another thing. There's so many people that let their upline dictate their success. Like, that drives me crazy. Like, my upline isn't helping me, or my upline left, or my upline quit. You know what I mean? It's like, why are you letting someone else dictate your success? And even to the point where there's people that are like, I'm refusing to work because I don't want to make my upline money. I mean, just dumb stuff that comes
Yeah.
out of people's mouths. I'm like, that is ridiculous. But let me tell you what you did is so inspiring, because there are a ton of people that going through something like that would have done two things. They would have either went with the upline because they would have been scared, right? That fear mentality that we live in. And I will just bet that a lot of those people that left are probably on their second or third company. I mean, that's usually what happens. But or they're, you don't even know where they are now, because they're definitely not making any money. It's like the worst mistake of their life. But
Hmm.
it's so crazy, because that happening to you, losing teams like that, it is scary. And if you didn't go, then the other option for a lot of people is they completely get in their own heads, and it's downhill from there. They never recover, because it's a choice. I tell people that all the time. The difference between the people that recover and keep going, and now you've got your rank back, congratulations, that is so awesome. But the difference between you and someone else is you got out of your own head. You didn't let that. I mean, I'm sure when it was happening, it was probably the most horrible thing ever. I've been there. But you didn't stay there. You're allowed to get down, but you're not allowed to stay there. And you didn't. And you pulled your team together, you rallied, and here you are a year later. Look, I
Hmm.
mean, a couple years later, look at the position you're in. It's huge. So I just hope people understand that you have got to push through. I mean, listen to Stephany's story. Like, she pushed through. She lost legs. She lost an upline. Hello. This is the reasoning that I get for so many people right now that tell me why they're not succeeding or why they're not working. And you didn't let either one of those things hold you back. And I think that's just so freaking amazing. It's awesome. I would love to get to some tips and some things that you're doing, because, well, first of all, I mean, we've been in network marketing a while now. So I'm going to bet you're like me, and you've probably been through your friends and family. Like, the ones that were going to join you joined you. Now it's like, okay, where do we go from here? And people always think, I think they think once you get to 200K that people are just knocking on your front door saying, can I sign up with you? It doesn't work that way. It gets harder. It's like, okay, I've got to like build my network, and I've been through my friends, been through my family. So are you mostly social media? And if so, which most people are like that we talk to, I was out and about until COVID hit, but it hit. So now I'm completely social media. But what do you personally do to add new people, like to find those new people?
Um, I would say that I'm 99% social media, and I always have been. And mostly the reason why, it's because, like, I do this for the freedom with my family. And if I had to, like, go out, and this is an excuse, but if I had to go out in public and do these things, it took more time away from my family. So I learned to do this through social media solely. Instagram is my jam. That's kind of where I do everything. I am very intentional with who I connect with. So I don't cold message anybody. I will never tell somebody to cold message. I never will. I utilize my stories, I utilize my postings, and I utilize hashtags and the discovery page. So what I mean by that is, If you go to your discovery page on Instagram, and that's basically just your little home, like the little home icon, your little home button, it's going to bring you to your discovery page. Instagram has all sorts of algorithms in there that based off of your connections, based off of things that you've liked, based off of things you've commented on, it's going to compile a bunch of like-minded people on your discovery page that they say like, hey, this one's on here specifically because you liked this or whatever. So one way that I'll connect with new people is I'll go to that discovery page and I'll scroll through, and I will be very honest, I am very picky and I'm very intentional with who I'm connecting with. I will not just mass add people. I will make life for me as easy as possible. Do they already post on social media? Do they use their stories? Do they know how to make their Instagram aesthetically pleasing? Because that's huge. If they have all those things and they're active on their page and they have things in common with me, I'm going to connect with them. I'm going to follow them. I'm going to comment on their things and really connect with them on a genuine level. Like, I'm not just going to comment to comment. I'm going to comment things that I really want to comment. Like, for example, I remember one picture that caught my eye was a dog that looks almost exactly like my dog. So I remember commenting on that girl's post, and I told her that my dog looked exactly like her dog, and I asked if it was a Pekingese or a Chihuahua mix because that's what mine is. To my surprise, the response was it was a full-bred Pomeranian. But I was able to tell, like, I've had a Pomeranian too, so that's one thing we could connect with. I also already knew she was a mom, a new mom to a girl, so there was a lot of things I knew I could connect to her with. But I decided to I replied to her and I said that I was going to message her a picture of my dog because it was so crazy how similar they looked. So I, messaged her a picture through DM, and that's one of my next goals is authentically building that conversation through private message and having a real conversation. So we talked about the dog, and then, we eventually become friends on Facebook, and then now she's in my warm network, and she I can continue to build over there. So that's one way is the discovery page, or I will search hashtags that are like-minded to me. So the reason why I do that, you guys, is because I don't want to be connecting with somebody that I'm not able to talk to them about anything, like that I have no connections or relatability to, because then it's going to be hard for us to build that. Hold on, there's like a jet and it's super loud. It's going to be hard for us to build that relationship. So I know, and to each their own, I'm not shaming anybody's way of growth, but for me personally, if I mass add or mass follow people, a lot of those people are people that have nothing in common with me that I wouldn't be able to connect with. And if you're not building genuine relationships, they're not going to trust you or your product. People don't buy your product, they buy you. Okay. If they can connect with you, if they can become trusting with you, then that's going to be a more genuine and maybe a long-term relationship as far as the business or product goes in the future, right? So my goal is to connect with like 5 new people a day on a genuine level. That doesn't mean I'm talking to them about the products by any means, but it means that I'm connecting with them and building that relationship. And they will ask me if they become interested. I will never ask them. Now, in my stories, that's where I think a lot of my new customers come from, is my stories, because I'm always in my stories. I'll be consistent with showing my 3 steps. I'll be consistent with showing throughout the day, that I'm playing with my daughter, things like that. And like people connect the dots, like, hey, it's Wednesday at, 11 o'clock and she's doing this at home or whatever. And people see that consistency and be like, does she not have a job? Or they may, ask questions, things like that. But I'll do call to actions, like polls and things in my stories too. So that's, I guess, how I grow my network is Instagram. And then I'll get them into my warm network, which is Facebook. And then to touch, Lisa, on what you said about family and friends, I will tell you that if somebody comes to me saying if they think that they're going to be able to become successful with just their family or friends, then you are very, very incorrect in that area. I'll tell you that my family and friends are the last people who want to talk to me about this. So,
It's so true. Oh my gosh. And not only that, but like it's people that are counting on their family and friends. I mean, I look at my business now, and even the family and friends that have joined me, they weren't really that successful with it, you know. And I think sometimes it's even worse signing family and friends because they expect you to build them or they expect you to help them make money. It's kind of like I don't like signing family and friends because you feel like this obligation that they succeed. And you know what, I think what you said, and every 200K gets on here and talks about, no one ever talks about they approach people with Lavelle. I hope you guys take note of that when you're on this call, because not one person ever says, "Yeah, I cold message people," or "I asked them if they've heard of Lavelle," or like that's not even what comes up. You've talked about, you've barely mentioned Lavelle. All you've talked about is how you're trying to build genuine connections with people that you have things in common with outside of Lavelle, because obviously that person is not going to have Lavelle in common with you, right? If they did, they'd already be signed up. So
mhm,
you're looking for those other ways. And I love how you said that you take them from Instagram and then friend them on Facebook, because I think you know that Instagram is more superficial, where Facebook is where you can really be a friend with a person, like
mhm.
pull them really into your warm market. So it's so huge. And we don't get a lot of people. I mean, honestly, we don't get a lot of people that come on this call that talk about Instagram. And I think it's so underused. I know it is because I don't use it. And it's like, come on, I've got to like wake up. It's like that. I need to work my Instagram. I say this every call. I need to do it, but it's a whole avenue that people aren't really using with Lavelle yet, which is crazy to me because I mean, we're just getting started. You know, we're just like getting started with this whole thing. There's so many millions and millions and millions and millions of people on Facebook and Instagram that we're never done. There's people out there that don't even know what Lavelle is. I still get that. Like I'll still get, what is that? No, I've never heard of it. So any of you that you think this is saturated or everyone knows about it, I get daily people that have no clue. They're like, "What? Don't
Dang.
know what you're talking about."
Mhm.
So also wanted to kind of dig into a little bit about how you sign up somebody new. Like if I was in your inbox today and was like, "Okay, Stephany, I want to do this thing." How would you get me started and take me through those first couple weeks to help me possibly get those VIP bonuses? And I also want to say, I love how you said you didn't get VIP 1600. Here, I mean, it wasn't cool at the time, but here's the thing, so many people, and I hope you guys that are on here that are newer realize that, I mean, I've never ever exaggerate. I'm the type of person that I want to, I don't want to overpromise and underdeliver, right? I want to do the opposite. I always tell people only about 5% of people that sign up get the VIP bonuses. Like if and it's not because it's extremely difficult, it's because most people don't have four people in 14 days that are going to agree to do something. They're kind of starting their journey and they've got to like build those relationships. And so I want them to understand that just because you get those, that doesn't dictate your future with Lavelle. Like I could put, I don't know how many 200Ks have been on here that said they missed those bonuses. So those don't dictate your success. I can't stand when somebody thinks that it does. And one of the tips I wanted to give everybody really quick while it's on my mind is if I have somebody that did not get those VIP bonuses, I immediately put them in a three-way message with somebody that's an 80K or a 200K that did not get those bonuses. I immediately say, look, this is not a big deal. You need to talk to my friend Danny because she's an 80K right now. Which Danny did get her bonuses, but I'm just saying, I just threw a name out there. But because she did not get her bonuses either, and look where she is right now. And immediately they realize, they connect the dots, because so many people feel like, crap, I'm not good at this. If I can't get these bonuses, I might as well just give up. And it's so sad because they just never push through. But I would love to know what you do, to try to help. I mean, what do you do in those first 14 days?
So It kind of varies. I used to just connect them with training that we created and, thought to myself, if they have the initiative to make this happen, then they're going to. And that wasn't exactly the best approach. And I've learned to be a lot more there, I guess. So what we do now is um we have a training that we put together, and it just kind of very briefly, it tells them how to log in. I did a very to the point how to earn your VIP bonuses, a video, and just plug them into that training. But I tell people, I get them on a Zoom and I'm like, okay, here's what I want you to know. I want you to log into your cloud office, and I show them, I share the screen with them and I show them, and I scroll down to the VIP 816 area and I say, this is the only thing I want you to focus on right now. Is if you're coming on here, then it's to be looking at this wheel. I don't want I honestly tell them, like, I don't want you to be spending all this time trying to research all the PDFs and the resources and try to navigate this cloud office right now. Like, that's not what I want you to do. What I want you to do is just start um, taking my coaching and applying it. So I have two videos that I have on my team page. One is for attraction marketing, and I talk a lot about, how I authentically post and how I authentically grab people's attention. And then the other one is how to attract, promoters versus customers type of thing. So I talk about that. I walk them through making their first post. I let them know, if you have anybody that asks you questions about this, please get them in a three-way with me so that I can help answer the questions. I can do all the talking. Like, I make it very, very easy for them to just let me do the work for them, the talking. But they also know that, hey, I'm in here listening to the voice memos or listening to the call or reading whatever I'm putting in there, and I'm learning. Okay. Because you can say one thing, or you can say the same exact thing two different ways. In this way, they're going to be like, I need that, absolutely need that. And if you say it and tweak a couple of words and you say it this way, they're going to be scared away. So I really just have them, not focus on any of the extra stuff. I don't want them to be looking at, the VI or the auto bonuses or anything like that. If they ask me about it, I will literally be like, we're going to focus right now on your first goal. I'm going to make this as simple as possible. And I'm hand holding them for those 2 weeks. I didn't used to do that. I didn't used to, because like, I do sign a lot of people. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. I do sign a lot of people, and that can be a lot. It can be overwhelming, but I feel like over the last 3 years that we've been doing this, we've kind of fine tuned how we can plug our people into our training, and I'm able to be more one-on-one with my new enrolls for the first 2 weeks. So
Yeah, you know what I think of I really don't know how many calls I have to do and how many 200Ks need to get on here and say the same thing over and over again. And still people fight it. Get people in three-way messages. Like, I don't know what I have to do to you guys. Browbeat you, come to your houses, make you get people in three-way messages. And I think that it's so awesome what you just said. You should only be focusing there. Pull your people back. Like, you have to reassure them, you don't need to know anything right now. I'm not expecting you to know anything right now. You're brand new. That's why I'm going to do it for you. You're going to do this. You're going to get me in the message as soon as they show interest. I'm going to take over, and that's how you're going to learn. And that is so key. And then also, not putting them in 50 team pages, not sending them 5 million videos, not saying, hey, go study your cloud office. There's a billion videos in there too. Like, all that is distraction. And what you're doing to a new person is you're making them feel like they need to know all the things before they actually can get going with this. And it can be super daunting and overwhelming. And especially when you've got somebody that probably has a full-time job, probably has a family, they're like, oh crap, I can't do this. And this is, I always say, we are the ones that ruin new promoters. period, point blank. We're the ones that push them away. We're the ones that, the only thing a new promoter knows, you guys, is what we tell them. Okay. They know nothing else. So the exact thing that you do with that brand new person that's never done this before is the exact thing they're going to do with the person that they bring in. So you have to ask yourself, is what I just did with this person what I want them doing with their person and that person and that person? I mean, it really is that art of duplication. And what you're saying to them matters. You know, it's what you're planting the seeds that uh, they think the way that you're telling them. They know no different. And I just think it's so huge and it's so crazy. Like I said, success leaves clues. And every week, the same people get, it's different people saying the same thing over and over and over again. It's like, come on, wake up. What about, how important do you think it is to get on like Zooms and, once COVID's over, get to trainings and stuff like that? Like, how is that played a huge role in your success?
Like, do you mean with the team or?
Just plugging in general. I I mean, I just like think about the last 10 years in this business, and I would not be here today if I wasn't constantly surrounding myself with like-minded people, because the outside world is cruel, dude. Like,
Yeah.
you get unfriended, like it's horrible. And if you're just going to be in, like, it's like, I'll give you an example. Right now I have a girl and she is on the verge of quitting because her spouse is so freaking negative. But I was trying to tell her, you don't plug in. Like, you've got to find ways when he goes to bed at night, you need to listen to a recording or something. You've
Yes.
got to surround yourself with people that get you.
So plugging in is super, super key. I forgot to mention this when I was talking about how I start people, but one of the things that we have pinned up top is our Zoom schedule. And we have 11 different opportunities each week for our team. And we make them known that it's optional, but that it's very highly recommended for people to jump on and we work together. So every Monday through Friday, we get together. We usually have about 1 to 200 people on at 9 a.m. Central and 8 p.m. Central. We do those 2 times so that we can hit most of our team's schedules. And we have a different leader that runs them each time. And we work together for an hour. We explain like, hey, we're going to talk about gratitude right now, or we're going to, go through birthdays. We're going to take the next 10 minutes to respond to comments on yesterday's post, or to use our hashtag strategies for new
Kind of
girls.
like power hours.
Yeah, we do power hours together twice a day, Monday through Friday. And again, we have about 1 to 200 people on every time we do that. I think it's super, super crucial. Even the top leaders on our team, like, we make all of them, or as many as that we possibly can. And then Sunday evenings, we do a team huddle every single Sunday. And then on Wednesdays, I know on my team, I do Wednesday or Winning Wednesdays in my team page. I just go live in there. Me or one of my leaders goes live in there, and we kind of just drop some golden nuggets on our team, some tips, things like that. So there's all sorts of these opportunities to connect as a team and to plug in. And I cannot stress enough how important plugging in is. And that's going to be literally the key to success, is staying plugged in.
What do you think, like, when you think back over the last, how many years that you've been in network marketing, what do you think are some of the biggest mistakes you've made?
Um, One of the biggest mistakes I've made when I first started in this industry is unauthentic growth. I burned through my network in a very unauthentic way originally by cold messaging like 100 people a day. Um, those people were burned through. They never stuck if they even joined or anything like that, because it was super unauthentic. Um, I would say the other thing is, everyone goes through this. I don't care if you're a brand promoter or a 200K. We get in our own way sometimes, no matter how successful you are. We always there's times where we get in our own way and we start to doubt ourselves. If you're not keeping up with self-development, if you're not keeping up with staying positive minded and keeping on like pushing through the hard, then you're going to lose all sorts of momentum. I would say a year and a half ago when, my team kind of crumbled a little bit, there was a 2-month time period where I was really, really in my head. During that 2-month time period, I enrolled maybe 4 people. And to me, that is very, very, very low. Those 4 people didn't even stick because my mindset wasn't there. I was dwelling so much on what was happening around me and what was happening with my team, that and who I could trust and who I couldn't trust, that I got in my own way, and even was pissed when they came out with rank up bonuses during that time, because it was going to be next to impossible. Like, if you've seen the way they structure the rank up bonuses for 200Ks, if you've already hit a 200K, I think you can earn the bonus if you have 3 personally enrolled 200Ks that start in that time frame in like 4 months. So it's not like it's impossible, but that's a really, really tough goal to make. I was pissed that I wasn't going to have the opportunity to earn a bonus during that time because where my head was. So I would say the biggest mistake is getting in your own way and like living in this negative mindset.
It's the number one thing that is going to hold every single person on this Zoom back. If you can't get over whatever it is that you're pissed about, you're going to sit and fall back and fall back. You can either focus on the negative happening or you can move forward. That's the thing with network marketing, is you're going to have setbacks. Look, everybody here on this Zoom, I don't care who you are, if you stay in network marketing long enough, you're going to lose people. You're going to have people that don't like each other. You're going to have conflict. You're going to lose upline. I don't care who you are. These things are going to happen. You are not, in a bubble of your own where you're untouchable. They're going to happen. And when they do, you have a decision to make. You either let that dictate your success or you keep pushing forward. And you can have your month to, whatever that is for you, whether it's a day, 2 days, a month. But at some point, you've got to make the decision to pick your ass up and get over it. You cannot continue to dwell. And it's just so sad to me when I see people that have so much potential let something like an upline leaving, or my upline, I don't get along with them. I mean, we hear that crap all the time. Unfortunately, we're in the business of people, and I wish it was La La Land where everyone got along, but it doesn't work like that. And, especially when you're in a business like ours, it becomes so personal. It's not like you go to a 9-to-5 job and you clock out at 5 and you go home and that's your coworker. Like, we do life with people. Like, we make friendships, we go on vacations together. And when something happens, we take it personal. And I think that is probably one of the hardest things ever, is it affects you in so many different ways when something does happen, because it's not just a business thing, it's a personal thing too. And it's so hard to like get past sometimes. But I mean, I just think you're like a prime example of, look, you've been through a lot of hard, but you've come back out on top, and it's because you didn't stop. You kept pushing. And I love how you talk about self-development, because I just think I just know that I wouldn't be here today without it. Like, I don't know how someone does not do self-development. Are there certain things that you do self-development wise? Like, what's your jam when it comes to self-development?
So I can't focus on reading books. My brain is always just everywhere. So I listen to audibles. I can retain audibles in podcasts and things like that. So I just listen to books. I think one of my favorite ones was Joel Osteen, You Can, You Will. That was one of the first books that I listened to, and I listened to it many, many times. That really got me out of my, poor me mindset, and got me into like, okay, like I can do this. I am, worthy of more, things like that. So just listening to audibles.
So how I want to end this out is the opposite of the last question I asked you, the one before this. What do you think are a couple of the best things that you've done in your time since you've been doing network marketing, and that you think everybody needs to do if they want to be successful?
Um, Multiple things: staying connected, self development, and just staying authentic with your audience. And that's going to be one of the biggest things. I saw a question up there a little bit ago that said, how do you suggest getting sales? I don't think of it anymore as getting a sale. And I just did a video on my team page about this the other day. We got to really get out of the mindset on how do I get a sale. We have to get into the mindset of how can I help change another life, because we all know what these products have done for us. We know with confidence what these products can do for others. So one of my biggest things on getting sales or growing, things like that, is just getting on my social media and being real and authentic, talking about what this product has done for me, talking about how I feel now versus what it was like prior to my products, talking about how I don't have that stress anymore that I used to live with daily, and that exhaustion, and that self-confidence that I didn't used to have that I have now. I'm super passionate about what the products have done for me. So when I can continue to put that out there in an authentic way and in a relatable way on social media, that's when people are flooding my inboxes asking me what I do. Like, what do you do? Like, I've watched you for 6 months and you've inspired me, or something like that. Like, people watch you. And I might be getting off your question, but
Oh
I
no,
guess
not at all. I like 1 billion%. This, I always tell people, I don't care if you know every ingredient in these products. I don't care if you get on every Zoom you've ever seen posted. I don't care if every day you're active in the team page. And I don't care if you live, love, breathe the products. The only thing that is going to grow your business is growing your network. You can do all those other things. That's busy work. But until you implement what you're learning and then putting it into action and actually doing those IPAs every single day, like if your day is just filled with watching Zooms, and I mean, those things are essential. Yes, I wouldn't be here today without them. But if you are so consumed with all of these little tedious things, none of those matter. You could be the literally most ignorant Lavelle promoter that ever signed and get to 200K, not knowing a damn thing, as long as you're connecting, building relationships, and posting that you use this product.
Mhm.
Eventually, you're going to run into the right person that's going to change your business. And for everyone on here, just out of curiosity, for you to be 200K, how many honestly, how many people do you think it really takes for you to be 200K? Because when I look at my downline, I would say 5 people total. It really took for me to be a 200K.
Yeah, agree. 5 or even less, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Well, actually, it was in the beginning about two. For me to be a million VIP and more, about five. Like you guys, I think it's so huge for you to hear that, because I think so many people think I need thousands and thousands and thousands. It's about finding that right person.
Mhm.
Once you find a couple good people, two good people will take
So
you all
I
the way
have
to
to have an order
200K.
for him that
Two.
he's
Two
Yeah.
good
really
people
accomplished.
is going to take you all the way to
And once I
200K.
get that entered,
And
we'll
it may definitely take some time to find those two people. It's like a needle in a haystack, right? You poke around enough, you're going to hit one of those needles. And that is this business. You post long enough, you stay consistent every single day, and you're going to run into that one right person that's going to take you to 40K. You're going to run into that second one that's going to take you to 80 and 200K. And then the third that's going to take you to 1 million. And really, it is. All you got to find is a couple like-minded people that are consistent just like you, and it will take you all the way to the top.
Yeah.
And
And
you
you
guys,
cannot let no scare you.
yes, oh my gosh. And we just got paid. I think, like, seriously, Tuesday was just another day of the week before I joined Lavelle. Now it's like the year goes so fast. I'm like, it's Tuesday again. It's Tuesday again. It's another paycheck. And Tuesdays are so powerful because you can go make a payday post. Like I get so much interaction when I post what my Lavelle check's doing for me this week, or and I think a lot of people think it's got to be, oh my gosh, I don't want to post because I got a $10 paycheck. That's $10 somebody else doesn't have in their pocket. That's
Mhm.
gas in your car for the week or whatever. So post something. I mean, it's those little things that people are attracted to. I think it's so huge. And just like you've been talking about this entire call, be genuine, be you, be real. And people are going to be attracted to that. And they're watching you and you don't even know it.
Mhm.
Like, this, Stephanie. How many people have been in your inbox that you're like, I had no idea this person was watching me? They've never commented, they've never liked
Oh my
anything.
gosh, I talk about that all the time because I can't even tell you the amount because it's so many. I just had a girl last month reach out to me. She went 4K, she earned the Maui gym bonus and all that stuff. And I asked her because she was like, I've watched you for a long time. I asked her, I was like, really, how long? She was like, about a year. I had no idea. She's never commented, she's never liked. So that's one thing I love to talk about. I'm glad you brought that up because they don't have to like your stuff or comment. And in fact, a lot of what I see is the people who are watching on the sidelines and being secretive about watching you who are like the most interested. So
The most interested, and it's always this person that comes into your business and they're like, never done this before, and all of a sudden the next thing you know, they're your next rock star. It's like,
mhm.
oh my gosh, I've got somebody that is like, they get it. They want to do this. It's the best feeling ever when you sign somebody that VIPs. You're like, oh my gosh, somebody just VIP'd.
Mhm.
It's just so amazing. Stephanie, I just want to thank you so, so much. And, I just think that leadership is, you follow the leader. And I mean, I can just tell by talking to you, and that you're under amazing leadership now, the leadership that you've always been under, but that should have been yours in the first place. And I think that's what the coolest thing ever is. Courtney, you're now Courtney's personally enrolled. That's the best part about this
Yeah.
business is, guess what, somebody quits, you're now mine. Like, you're literally, you don't just bump up, you are now my personally enrolled. And we both know that doesn't happen in all these companies, these other companies, that does not happen. So I just want to thank you so much for hopping on today. And I have no doubt that there are people that are on today that needed to hear exactly what you talked about. And it's just the struggles that you've gone through, so many people face, and they just don't get past it. And the only difference between you and them is that you made a choice, and you changed your mindset, and you decided, I'm not going to let these things defeat me. I'm going to overcome them. And look where you are. And it's so cool. I have you on this month and you just got back to 200K. It's like a celebration. Woo, woo. So we're
Yeah.
excited for you. And I have no doubt that you're going to be a millionaire very soon, sister.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks so much, Stephanie. And thank you guys, all of you, every week for getting on this amazing Zoom. We will have the recording out shortly. And if you are new, just know that every week this Zoom is at noon Eastern, 11 Central. And it is the same link every single week, but a different guest. I'm even going to start delving into 80Ks next. And we've been doing this now for almost 2 years. And it's crazy how many 200Ks are in this company. It blows my mind. I'm like, I could do this call every day for a year and not have enough weeks to hit every 200K in this company. And what that means for all of you guys is that you can get there. Like, Stephanie and I both came from a company that less than 100 people were at the top of that comp plan. In 20 years, less than 100 people hit the top of that comp plan. Lavelle has been around almost 8 years, and hundreds are at the top of the comp plan. That means that, what that means, and I hope you guys get this, is that if there's that many people at the top of a comp plan, that means you can get there. That means it's not impossible. That means that the only thing stopping you is you, is consistency. It's time. That's the only difference between myself, Stephanie, or anyone else on this call that's a 200K, 80K, is that it's time, it's consistency, and you just have to do your time. You just have to get consistent. And I have no idea you guys are going to get to exactly where you want to go. I'm so excited for the week. Happy Tuesday, happy payday, everybody. We'll see you next Tuesday, same time, same place, different guest. Be there or be square. Thank you, Stephany.
Thank you. Bye.